Hi everybody, welcome back. So today we are doing character masks using EVA foam. So this is going to be a super simple project. We're doing more of a beginner thing today. So what you will need for this project is some die cut and bond. You can of course use glue, but I really like working with my die cut and bond, and I want to show you how easy it makes layering, especially EVA foam. So what I find with EVA is it's sort of like a material, so if you put glue on it, it takes a really long time to dry because it obviously absorbs into it. So I got my EVA foam from Craft Buddies. It comes in A3, so this is the A3 sheet, which is obviously double of an A4. I do have an offcut here that I'm going to use. This is the Brights set. Can you see those colors? There also is a pastel one. So you get that in A4 and you get it in the A3. You also get glitter ones. I think I actually have some of those, so maybe I'll use some of that for the accents on the mask that we're going to do. And you get self-adhesive ones as well. So let's jump into the design, or the design space aspect of this project, and then I will show you how we're going to layer the EVA on this and cut it. Today's project is character masks, as I may have already told you. So I do want to do more in-depth masks, but for today I want to try and keep it quite simple, and there is a reason for that. I don't want to make you afraid of trying it. So I'd rather start with something simple, and then later on I will cover another video with something more in-depth, like creating your own mask from scratch. So for today's one, we're going to be using Design Space images. I found this on the home screen under projects. I searched for party mask, and this was one of the ones that came up. So I just want to show you what to look out for. I'm going to duplicate this. And I'm actually going to ungroup this so that I can show you each of the layers. So if you have a look, the bottom layer is actually the dark brown. So doing it that way means you don't have to fiddle with all these tiny little pieces. It's literally going to be a peel and stick situation. If you had to do all of the little pieces, it would take you a lot longer. It's not impossible, but it would take you a lot longer, and you'd probably get frustrated with it. So we've then obviously got our bottom layer, which is the dark pink, and that's also a solid layer. And then we've got these two little ones that we put on there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put die cut and bond on this layer. I'm going to put it on this layer, and I'm going to put it on this layer. I'm obviously not going to put it on my bottom layer, because my bottom layer is going to be the one that sits against the child's face. So what I like about using the Design Space ones is that they should already be sized for a face. So you shouldn't have to fiddle with resizing. You can, of course, do this on paper first if you don't want to waste material, and then you can see if it works. So I'm going to delete the one that I've duplicated because we don't need it. And I just want to show you under images, there are loads. So I've already typed an animal mask, and you can see there's loads that you can try here. There's super simple ones, then there's more in-depth ones. There's even ones that you could sort of create to be masks. So let's say you wanted to do this one. Let's add it to canvas. What we would look out for is make sure obviously that the yellow pieces is a bottom layer. We would then obviously add in our circles for the string. So we would resize those. Let's say we want, I don't know where we would put it, but we would obviously size it, duplicate, put one there, and we would then slice it out. So it's very simple to create the mask that you want. Now I'm going to be doing these out of EVA, and I'm going to be using die cut and bond. That's all I'm going to use. I may add some glitter, maybe. I think I'm being ambitious because glitter is the worst, but I love it. So I'm going to cut this. I think for this I'm going to be using my deep point blade. Reason being, there are some intricate cuts here. So your circles on the side are quite intricate. I don't think the rotary blade's going to handle that. So for this, you would use your strong grip mat. Super simple. So let us go to the Make It screen to see what material we're going to use, what material setting, and how we're going to change our tools to make sure that it's the tool we want to use. So we're going to say Make It, and it's for any material on a mat. And let's just say continue. So there's two ways we could do this. We could cut it with the die cut and bond facing upwards, or we could do it facing downwards. If it's facing downwards, just be mindful you may lose your backing against the strong grip mat, but it's fine because you'd peel and stick, and then you could peel your backing off of the mat. The backing is also sort of a non-stick backing, so that might cause issues for you. So if you're going to cut it with the die cut and bond on top, what you would do is you would mirror this so that your bottom is your top is facing down and your bottom is facing upwards. So what we would use, let's click on EVA foam. So already we've got our deep point blade there. So let's just go back. So let's choose flex foam. That one you also can't change. There was another one that I tried. So let's say browse foam. So let's say craft foam, and let's see what it gives us. So here it gives us the deep point blade and clamp B. If you click on edit tools, you can change it to your knife blade. So it will always give you the options. If the edit tools is grayed out, you can't change the tool and you have to use the tool that is there. So that's something to be mindful of. For your EVA foam, I would suggest the deep point blade or the rotary blade. I'm sure the knife blade could also work. I just haven't tried it yet. So the ones that I do know work is the deep point blade. It will give you more intricate cuts, and your rotary blade is for more like squares, circles, that kind of stuff. So let's get to making this.
So we've had a look at our design space aspect, which is super simple, as is this whole project. So the point of this project, again, is to show you that beginners can do all the things and that you don't need to be daunted by it or afraid to try it. So I did find this glitter silver self-adhesive EVA. So this essentially already has die cut and bond on it, so all you do is cut, peel, stick. Super simple. I then found some of my pastel A4 EVA sheets, and for this I do actually want to use the lighter pink. So I do actually want to use this one. I think that goes really well with that. So it's important to remember which is your bottom layer and which is your top layers. So for this mask, the pink is your bottom layer, and then your yellow, your brown, and your silver are your top layers. So for my for my yellow and brown, what I need is, okay, so let's look at the brown first. What I need is 10 centimeters by 17 centimeters. So let's have a look and see. This is 12 centimeters. So what we can do is we can just lay one strip across the top. So let's try get that into focus for you. There we are. So all we're going to do is we're going to peel it. Oopsie, make sure it's straight. Ugh. And we're going to stick that. And then we're going to cut it. So I like to buy these A3 sheets simply because if I'm doing a cake topper, I can usually fit 3 rings onto one sheet. So it works out well for me. You can buy the A4s. So with this one, I'm just going to show you what you would do. It is still a full A3 sheet. So you can just apply it onto your mat like so. Like so. Let's make sure it's straight. like that. And it is sticking off the end of your mat, but that's fine. That's not going to affect your cut, and it's not going to affect your machine either. So essentially what you want is just one side to have the die cut and bond, and that's going to act as your adhesive side so that it can stick to the layer below it. So for this project we're going to be using our deep point blade. That is our black blade. Just stick that in there. And we've already been through the cut settings, so we know what we're doing there. So we're going to start cutting this, and then we are going to put it together. So another thing to remember with your machine is move your white rollers completely to the side so that it doesn't leave indentations on your EVA, because you don't want that. You can also add tape around the edges just for added security. That's completely up to you. So I'm going to get to cutting this and then we will put it together. Always remember to test before removing your material. I had to cut that I think 3 times. Always remove your mat from your material. Oopsie, not your material from your mat. So that is cut through. There we have our sticky piece. So we're just going to have to trim our little pieces here, but that's completely fine. Okay, so now we're going to do the next ones, and then we will put it together. So I'm done cutting, and there are 2 pieces of advice that I'm going to give you. Number 1 is don't try to cut tiny details. It's not really suited, especially with the deep point blade. So what happens when you're cutting your EVAs, it actually it sort of bends because it is soft. So when I was cutting the detail for the top of our mask, it didn't work out so well. So what we're going to do, we're going to decorate that ourselves. So all we're doing now is we're going to peel this away. Very carefully, of course. We don't want to tear them. Oopsie, we're tearing the EVA. There we are. And what I love about the die cut and bond is you can actually just sort of see, kind of just anywhere that it's sticking out, just kind of rub it in, if that makes sense. Let's get rid of the R because that shouldn't be there. Okay, let's fold it in all these little places. Oops, 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 oops. Oh, oopsie, there we are. Okay, then what we're going to do is let's move this out the way. We're just going to take our scissors and we're just going to tidy up the edges here slightly. So another piece of advice I'm going to give you is to mirror your design and cut it upside down. So you're going to have your die cut and bond on the top and the part that you want showing on the bottom. And the reason for that is you're going to get less of these little sort of ridges if you cut it back to front. So next we're going to do our yellow bit. So this is why I suggest cutting it upside down, because all these little flyaways would be on the bottom side then, not on the top side that you're going to be using. So obviously it's going to be less work for you not having to pull all these little flyaways off. Okay, so I would definitely suggest cutting it on mirror so that you don't have to spend that time cleaning it up. But now we're going to do our, what do you call this thing? Our party hat. So let's get some glitter. So I think we should do some silver and pink. So for this, we're going to be using our precision tip, our Couture Creations. So this was actually not part of the plan, but we're here now, so we're gonna roll with it. So I think we should do some squiggles. And then we're just gonna let that dry and obviously dust off in between with our little paintbrush, put in our little string, and that is our character mask done and dusted. So what did we learn? We learned that EVA should be cut on mirror, so stick it pretty side down, or have your die cut and bond facing upwards. Cut it that way, you're going to get less flyaways. And try not to cut too intricate details. So I will do some tests and see if I get a better result with the knife blade. The deep point blade is not great for intricate details, and I can't see that the rotary blade would be great for it either. I do think this is a super cute project though, great for the kids. If you wanted to make more of them, you could obviously use your long mat and an A3 piece, and you could cut multiples of them at the same time. You could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably about 6 of them on one sheet. The pink, I think you would get a little bit less. I think it's a really cute project though, and I hope that it's inspired you to get out there and try some stuff with EVA. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me, and I can't wait to see you again. I hope that you learned some things. Before I go, I do just want to say there's something big coming in our next video. So if you are interested, if you want to know what it is, please give it a watch, share, let people know about the channel. I think you're going to enjoy this one. Thank you, and I hope to see you again soon.